Welcome to a journey through the pages of the Bible, where we uncover hidden truths and timeless wisdom. Today, we're diving into the story of Noah's Ark and the two scouts sent out to explore the post-flood world. This is the second of our three-part mini-series. In Genesis 8:7, we see how Noah sent out a raven to scout out the land. But why a raven and not a crocodile that can swim? The answer lies in the nature of this bird and the world it was about to encounter. Ravens are birds of prey, scavengers that thrive in environments of death and decay. They're always on the move, searching for their next meal. And that's exactly what Noah needed, a bird that could cover great distances and report back to him one way or another. In 2 Samuel 14:14, we are given an important key to this text. For we must needs die, and are as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither doth God respect any person, yet doth he devise means, that his banished be not expelled from him. Waters on the ground, like the flood, is symbolic of death. So, as the flood waters covered the ground, it ravaged the earth, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. The raven was released into this environment, and it felt right at home. It went forth, searching for food, and found a paradise of sorts, a world filled with the remnants of death and devoid of life. It's no secret that the raven is more comfortable among the dead than the living. So, at the first chance it got to escape the ark, it flew out and never returned, content to feast on the spoils of death. But its departure marked the beginning of a new era, one where life would emerge from the ashes of destruction. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Genesis 8:7. The raven would only fly freely as long as the waters were still on the ground. Like the sand in an hourglass, its dominion started to wane the moment it flew out of the ark. And that's a powerful reminder for us today, that out of death will come life, and out of darkness the light will shine. This description of the raven's activity is striking, as it is the exact description used for Lucifer in Job 1:7 and implied in 1 Peter 5:8. Like the devil, who roams to and fro on the earth seeking to devour the weak, vulnerable, and spiritually dead, the raven reigns supreme in the skies, feasting on the dead. But there is hope. Just as the raven's reign is short-lived, so too is the devil's rule over our lives. The short reign of the raven in the post-diluvian sky reminds us that our struggles are temporary and our redemption is near. Like Job, who suffered greatly but received a double portion of blessings in the end, we too can experience the abundance of life and glory that comes from knowing the Most High. So let us be sober and vigilant, resisting the devil's schemes and holding on to our faith. The raven may reign for a time, but ultimately, life and light will triumph over death and darkness. Noah was very wise, so he sent forth a dove at the same time as the raven. A raven was a harbinger of death that revels in chaos, but a dove was an emissary of glad tidings that delights in peace. Noah therefore sends a gentle dove to search for signs of life on earth. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. Genesis 8:8. Her mission is to find a place to rest, a symbol of the Spirit's search for a holy habitation. Hard as she searched, she could find no place to build a nest. The foul stench of death was so revolting that she had to immediately leave. This first trip was a failure, so the dove returned to Noah exhausted, a symbol of the Spirit's grief and return to the Father. The second trip yields an olive leaf, a symbol of peace and reconciliation through the Jesus, and the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. Genesis 8:11. So Noah knew that death had been defeated because the dove ascended with the first fruit of life, the olive leaf, Jesus Christ. The third trip is a victory, as the dove finds a new home and doesn't return to the ark, symbolizing the Spirit's permanent dwelling in us. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. Genesis 8:12. Death was swallowed in victory, and life had sprung up like a river, so the gentle dove could finally find rest for her feet on earth after Pentecost. She therefore made the earth her dominion. Each of the dove's 3 journeys was 7 days apart and represents the 3 dispensations of the Spirit. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin, and of righteousness, and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. John 16:8-11. The Spirit's work is first to reprove the world of sin. The Old Testament is full of stories of the Spirit of God coming on people to do a work, and then leaving as he could not find rest for his feet. The second work is to declare righteousness through the death and resurrection of Christ. He is the Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead and took him up to the Father's throne like an olive leaf plucked from the earth. On the third mission, the Spirit that raised Christ from the dead now dwells in us and seals us for the day of resurrection. For death and the devil no longer have dominion over us. He has judged the prince of this world. The dove's story is our story, a story of redemption and salvation through the Christ. We are the vessels for the Spirit to work through, and our willingness and obedience are all he asks of us. If you like this content, like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out part 3 of this series.